Hey guys, welcome to Car Confections. So we're finally getting behind the wheel of the Nissan Sentra, and of course we're going to be covering quite a lot in this test drive. As you can see on the screen right now, we'll be getting things like our sound level reading, and of course join with me here is Sofyan Bey from Redline Reviews, a good friend of mine, and he's helping us with all the filming here at this Nissan Sentra event, and of course he's going to be talking about this Nissan Sentra when it comes to its driving dynamics. So let's go ahead and get into it. There's 60 miles per hour in the Nissan Sentra. So, for this all-new generation of the Sentra, there's not really all that much new when it comes to the powertrain experience. So Nissan is using a carryover engine over the previous generation of the Nissan Sentra. It's a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. It makes 149 horsepower, 146 pound-feet of torque. As you can see from that acceleration there, we have decent acceleration for the segment. It's definitely not going to knock your socks off in terms of power. That was acceleration in sport mode when I just kind of pulled out here on the road. We'll get a couple more acceleration so you can see what your everyday performance is going to be like. But like I said, it's going to be okay for the segment. One of the things I'm definitely disappointed in that Nissan has not added for this new generation is a hybrid or a turbocharged engine. This is going to be the only way that you can get the Nissan Sentra. So, while it's pretty good horsepower numbers compared to most of the rivals in their base powertrain setups, it's certainly not going to have as much power as a GT line turbo K4 or the inline Elantra, and it's also not going to have as much power as some of the hybrid options like the Civic hybrid. There's 60. I brake torqued at that time. That was a little bit faster, definitely, than our first acceleration there. Like I said, we are in the sport mode, and Sofyan has all the fancy tools, so he has 0 to 60 measurer. And what was it coming in?
We got 9.8, which is fine. I think that was when we brake torqued it. For some reason, though, when you did it this time, it didn't actually hold the ratio. It still did the fake shifting, which slows the 0 to 60 time. We got to 10.5.
Yeah,
it's fine.
It's okay. It's definitely not the fastest. I do want to talk about the transmission, though. So, of course, we have a CVT on board. As you saw there with that acceleration, even under hard acceleration, it will do shift simulation. I personally kind of like the fact that it does have some simulated gear changes. It makes it feel more natural in its overall response. And power is going to be routed to the front wheels only. That's another thing with the Sentra that I wish they maybe added for this new generation is the availability of all-wheel drive. Some of the rivals definitely do include that at this point. This vehicle is going to be front-wheel drive exclusive. Alright, and Sofyan here is going to get our sound level reading going 55 miles per hour. Let me actually slow it down to 55. Alright. 68.3 decibels is what we were looking at. Okay. That's pretty loud.
I was going to ask, is that loud or quiet?
That's definitely really loud. That being said, I do want to, of course, point out that we are here in Arizona. We're just outside of the Scottsdale area on a media drive. So, unfortunately, the road surfacing here in Arizona is definitely a lot louder than our typical test in Kentucky. So, keep that in mind. However, we don't have to sit here and guess how it compares to the competition. We can find that at carconfections.com/sound level readings. We posted all of this vehicle's rivals, and we can see how it stacks up. And compared to rivals, that 68 decibels is certainly going to be on the louder end. Now, Nissan did actually say that they've worked for this new generation to make it quieter than the previous generation. We definitely look forward to putting that to the test. But like I said, compared to our typical road surface, this is definitely a lot louder. So you have to wait a little bit longer to get that official Kentucky number. now that we're just kind of cruising down the road, let's discuss overall ride quality. I think that's an area I'm pretty impressed with, and of course Sofyan's here with me as well, so what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think for the SR model that we're driving with the bigger 18s, I think it rides, more on the firmer side, but it doesn't seem like unbearable. I mean, if you're going to compare this car to like the Civic with the 18-inch wheels or like the XSE versions of the Corolla, I'd say it's pretty similar.
Yeah, and one thing I do definitely like about this model are the zero-gravity seats. So Nissan, for the new generation, is including 4 zero-gravity seats, so both the front ones and the rear ones. And I think that's a big improvement over a lot of the rivals, especially if you're looking at some of the competition on the lower end where you're going to get a cloth seat.
Yeah.
A lot of times those are pretty hard. So I find these seats to be really quite comfortable. So, pair that with average, ride quality for the segment with comfortable seats, I think most of you guys will be pretty pleasantly surprised. And Sofyan just said it, we are in the SR model, so let's talk about overall driving dynamics. When it comes to the steering, I think that's pretty good for this segment. It's very responsive. As soon as you turn off center, you're getting that immediate feedback. You do definitely feel a bit of body roll. There's no really suspension changes for the SR as compared to other versions of the Sentra, so that's something to keep in mind. But overall, I think it's pretty good for the segment. It's definitely better than something like a Corolla, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I am surprised that they didn't do any kind of suspension changes for the SR. This car, I think, actually is begging for like an SER. If only Nissan would bring back an SER with a turbo engine, but I think you mentioned earlier they should really do a hybrid first. But I think where Nissan did so well 20 years ago is when they were the sportier alternative, and I hope to see them eventually come back to that position.
Absolutely. I think really the Sentra could totally benefit from having both a hybrid and a turbo powertrain option, because really most of the segment they give you one or the other. And, if Nissan were to be able to give you both, pair that with this, very nice cabin, I think it would be a winner for the brand.
Now, Mason, this powertrain is rated at a decent MPG number at up to 39 if you guys go for the lower trims. This, however, is rated at 28, 36, and 32 combined. How do you feel about that number?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but I think really a hybrid would be certainly appreciated here.
Right.
So the, fuel economy is not horrible. It's not going to break the bank when it comes to filling it up. However, rivals such as the Civic hybrid, the Corolla hybrid are pushing 50 miles per gallon. So, you can do the math on that. It's nearly 20 mpg worse. So drive this car 100,000 miles and you really are going to be paying a lot more in fuel expense, which I think matters to people, especially if you're buying in this affordable compact segment. You don't want to spend unnecessary money on fuel. So that certainly is something that I really wish Nissan had included for this new model. And I'm just going to go ahead and declare that today's airball with this model. I really wish Nissan had added a hybrid. I think there's a lot of things to like about this new Sentra. And if you're the type of person that doesn't like a hybrid, then this is a fantastic option in the segment. But I think a lot of people certainly are looking for that. And the Sentra is not offering that or all-wheel drive.
Right.
And Sofyan's going to tell you the slam dunk, which is our favorite element about this new Sentra. What is it?
Yeah, so for this car, I'd say an easy pick, Mason, is probably the interior. The 12-inch display that's standard even on the base trim, the dual 12.3s on the upper trims, and then the ambient lighting. 64 different colors of ambient lighting, which Nissan says is a class exclusive. It really makes this interior feel a lot more upscale, especially if you drive at night all the time.
Absolutely. And I think that it's worth mentioning, too, that it's not just on the top-end model, so it's not like one of those things, you have to get the really expensive one to get the screens. They're standard on almost actually this main screen is standard on every single version of the Sentra, which I think is noteworthy, especially compared to its competition. And of course, we've got to talk about pricing. So when it comes to the all-new Sentra, you have some really attractive price points, that's for sure. So prices are only going to rise about $1,000 over the 2025 previous generation model, and that was one of the most affordable compact sedans that money could buy, period. So I'm definitely happy to tell you that this new Sentra is definitely packing in a lot of value even in its new generation. You can see the full lineup of prices on the screen right now, and this SL, which I've talked about throughout this video, starts at under $28,000. It's around $27,990. Now this particular unit, after destination and optional paint, so keep in mind you could get rid of the optional paint, is sitting just about $30,000, which I think is a fantastic value for what you're getting here in the Sentra, considering that a lot of its rivals, such as a fully loaded Civic or a fully loaded Corolla, are pushing well past the $30,000 price point, so this certainly is a lot more attainable when it comes to pricing. If you're curious as to where this vehicle is manufactured, it is manufactured in Mexico. And if you're looking to buy one or any new vehicle, we'd encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. The reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool to use while dealer negotiating. If you'd like to take advantage of that, as well as things like our monthly payment tool, you can find a link to that in our video description, as well as a pinned comment down below.
So just to put you on the spot, Mason, I want to know, would you rather have this or a K4 GT line non-turbo? Because I view both of those models to be very, very similar. They both have 140-ish horsepower CVTs, and the Kia is also very competitively priced.
That's a tough one. I think that's a good question. I might just stew on that for a little bit longer. I initially here driving this vehicle, I am quite impressed with it. I think it's one of those cars that I can't wait to get back for a full week to really live with it and see if something else maybe aggravates me about it.
Right.
But this Sentra really does seem like a very competitive product. I love the K4, so I already know that I like that car a lot. But honestly, when it comes to like the interior, I think that this is probably just as nice as the K4, which I'm surprised to say.
I would agree with that. I mean, they both have the similar screen layout. The one thing the Kia has, however, is available ventilated seats and a bigger sunroof. But at the same time, I'm not sold on the looks of the K4 from certain angles. The GT line looks fine, but the baser trims look a little ungainly for me. So honestly, the fact that, you know, the Sentra's gotten this nice to where, like, I can see why people have been buying this over an Altima. It just seems like a better buy for sure.
So guys, that's all for our test drive of the Nissan Sentra. Of course, once again, give a warm welcome to Sofyan in the comment section down below. We love having him on the channel. He's a good friend of ours, and I know a lot of you guys end up watching all of his videos. So
well, thanks for having me, Mason.
Definitely appreciate you tuning in and watching this test drive. Of course, stay subscribed to the channel to stay informed on the latest car news.